of the biggest criticisms Hajime no Ippo has received is regarding Ippo's relationship with Kumi and how it almost never advances. We have over 14 other chapters in the Hajime no Ippo manga spanning over 35 years of content, during which around 10 in-universe years have passed. This means that Ippo, who started the story at the age of 16, is now somewhere in his mid-20s, yet he remains too timid to even hold hands with Kumi. They still have not confessed their true feelings for each other and are stuck in this phase of simply having a crush on one another. Their relationship has deteriorated to the point where Kumi is portrayed as gaslighting Ippo, convincing him that he has brain damage to pressure him into quitting boxing for a healthier life, as many fans claim. She even goes as far to threaten Ippo's disciples to prevent him from returning to boxing. This has left every reader of the manga wondering, what is Morikawa trying to convey with his story? And why does it continue to drag on for so long when everyone is dissatisfied with it? In order to explain this, I really don't want to resort to such methods, but I feel compelled to articulate my point by delving into the character's psychology and their deepest spiritual desires. I understand that many other anime and manga YouTubers delve into such deep analysis, presenting themselves as intelligent and all-knowing, but to me it often comes across as pretentious and cringeworthy. It seems as though they believe they understand their character on a spiritual level after reading a single book on personal development, watching a video about relationship dynamics, or quoting a famous philosopher. Instead, I will solely rely on the material provided by the manga and explain it solely from Ippo's and Kumi's perspectives, and will shed light on why the relationship isn't progressing and how Morikawa's narrative choices actually make sense when viewed from their standpoint. Ippo and Kumi first met during their last years of high school. Ippo developed a normal crush on her since she appeared really cute to him. However, things started to go south when it was revealed that Mashiba was Kumi's big brother. Mashiba wasn't the nicest guy to be around, and Ippo had a grudge against him since he cheated during his match against Miyata, preventing them from ever facing each other in the ring. Ippo fought Mashiba and won the fight by sacrificing his right fist in the process. Of course, Kumi witnessed Ippo trashing Mashiba, so she kept her distance from Ippo for a while until Ippo's fight with Walk, where they met again and started to become close. After this, they started to hang around, go on dates, and got to know each other, which in all honesty is very cute to see. But after a while, it started to get very repetitive and, in some cases, frustrating seeing them together. Their relationship is built around never advancing and is generally used for comedic effects instead of character development. Some examples are Ippo finally confessing to her, but because of his timid nature or because of the outside interferences, he just gave up on it. Or even both of them about to have their first ever kiss, someone or something is always there to interrupt them, which could be funny the first time, but doing it again and again just milks the joke. In my honest opinion, I did find the moments they hung around and the time they spent together cute. However, seeing their lack of genuine development and their relationship constantly used for comedic effects made me lose interest in their dynamic as the story progressed. It began to feel like filler content to me. Eventually, I even found myself disliking Kumi, as she seemed to devolve into a stereotypical generic anime girlfriend for the main character. I felt like their relationship was leading nowhere. However, all of these opinions and thoughts suddenly changed for me after Ippo's loss to Alfredo Gonzalez. It was supposed to be his ticket to facing off against Martinez for the world title, but Ippo infamously lost the fight in a devastating yet brutal manner. Following his loss, Kumi was the first character to confront Ippo about his defeat and began questioning whether all of this boxing was truly worth it. Ippo attempted to rationalize his loss by saying that he hadn't met everyone's expectations. In response, Kumi challenged Ippo's belief in pursuing the world championship simply because others expected it of him, and if it is truly worth it by shortening his healthy life. This confrontation deeply affected Ippo, leaving him unable to provide a satisfactory answer. He made a promise to her to quit boxing if he ever lost again. This moment sparked controversy among fans, with many interpreting Kumi's actions as an attempt to manipulate Ippo into retirement through gaslighting. However, what many fail to recognize is that Ippo had indeed accumulated head trauma and lacked the mindset necessary to become a world champion. Characters like Kumi and Takamura were attempting to confront Ippo's flawed approach to boxing and persuade him to hang up the gloves. Despite their warnings, Ippo persisted in boxing out of gratitude towards Coach Kamogawa for shaping him into the person he had become. Ultimately, he lost his final fight and retired. Throughout this period, Kumi stood by Ippo's side, caring for him and expressing her firm opposition to his return to the ring. She believed that allowing him to continue boxing would risk him becoming completely punch drunk. This perspective is understandable when considering Kumi's background. Having lost her parents at a young age, Mashiba served as a primary parental figure. He was overly protective of her, going as far to even eliminating potential love interests for her. Kumi inherited these traits, displaying an excessive concern for Ippo's well-being and preventing him from getting too close to boxing again. At times, she may have gone too far, not only due to her genuine concerns, but also inheriting comedic tendencies from her older brother. Do you remember when Ippo and Kumi went to their first date, only for Mashiba to secretly stalk them to keep an eye on them? Kumi mirrored this behavior when she suspected Mashiba of having found a girlfriend and went to stalk him with Ippo, only to discover he was meeting with Itadaki. Then they both ended up trash-talking Ippo and Kumi about their relationship. Now that Ippo is retired and a significant part of Kumi's life, she adamantly opposes his return to the ring. She even goes as far to apply to Ippo's students that he may be punch drunk, and if he gets too close to boxing again, they should inform her immediately. While her behavior may seem possessive and not particularly nice, it makes sense in her mind due to her overprotective nature and fear of losing someone close again. She simply doesn't want to experience loss again. Kumi's concern for Ippo's health is valid, especially considering Ippo's style of boxing, where he just rushes in like a wild boar head on and absorbs enormous damage to the head. Comparatively, even though Mashiba is also a boxer, he doesn't absorb nearly as much damage as Ippo. However, he still endures rough beatings in some fights, such as his fight against Awamura, which reignited Kumi's hatred towards boxing. Over time, Kumi has managed to somewhat temper her overprotectiveness of Ippo, but she still remains unconvinced about allowing him to return to the ring. This hesitation stems from Ippo's own indecision about returning to boxing. Some fans have speculated that after Mashiba's world title fight against Rosario, Kumi might become more open to the idea of boxing and potentially advancing Ippo's relationship. It is also worth noting that Mashiba himself will only entrust Kumi to another man whom he recognizes as stronger than himself. Recently, Mashiba has admitted that Ippo is indeed a strong man and deeply respects him. However, he is too proud to openly acknowledge that he considers himself below a retired boxer who is several weight classes below him. I believe after the Rosario fight, where Mashiba's character arc will ultimately conclude, he will give Ippo the approval that he indeed is the stronger boxer and will no longer intervene in his and Kumi's relationship. But the truth is, neither Ippo or Kumi has taken the definite step forward because both have unresolved confidence issues stemming from their difficult childhoods. Ippo lacked close friends and a father figure, while Kumi had to navigate life without parents and with an overprotective brother who rarely left her side. Despite the encouragement from other characters to progress their relationship, they remain stagnant, partly due to these personal struggles and partly because of their typical narrative structure found in manga and anime, where main couples often don't solidify their relationship until the very end of the series. Our best hope for their relationship to advance lies in the events such as Mashiba's world title fight, Ippo's potential return to the ring, or perhaps even at the conclusion of the manga. But what do you think about Ippo's relationship with Kumi? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow, and thanks for watching.